We just got back from touring the Wieliczka Salt Mine.
And wow, it was beautiful. We actually toured an area that had a cathedral underground completely made of salt. So if you've missed that video, make sure that you go back and watch it. But it was an amazing experience. But there were a few things that we wished we would have known before we went on our trip that we think maybe would have made our trip even better. So we wanted to share those things with you today. We've got 3 things that we want to focus on in this video.
Welcome to Retired to Rome. I'm Russell.
And I'm LJ.
Tip number 1 would be that it's not just a tour, it's an actual workout.
Yeah.
So when you first start out, they tell you there's going to be 800 steps down to the bottom, but actually the first portion of it when you go down is like 350 steps. Either way, it's a workout going down because there's no elevator going down. You have to walk all the way down. The only elevator is when you leave and come back up, but we'll explain a little bit more about that coming up.
And the stairs can be a little tricky, I guess. And you think, okay, going downstairs, that's not that big a deal. If you're fit, unlike Russell and myself, you're probably fine. But boy, the last couple of days, our legs have been super sore from just going downstairs.
Basically, it's like doing a 40-story stairwell first thing in the morning, and it's rough on the calf muscles after a couple of days. You'll feel it.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as mobility, I think I mentioned the stairs can be tricky, but not only the stairs, but there are the floor. Most of the floor is either made of wood or of salt itself. So they do warn you during the tour that the steps can be slick. There are areas where they're very damp, so you have to be very mindful of that. In other words, don't be wearing any sandals or high heels or anything like that. Definitely a good pair of either hiking boots or tennis shoes with a good sturdy sole on them would be probably recommended.
Yeah, because you're going to be walking over the whole tour 2 to 3 hours, and you're going to be going through damp, corridors and passageways, and it's well maintained, but it's not wheelchair accessible. So if you've got mobility issues, that's something you want to consider about.
And, I was joking, we're not in that great a shape, which we're not athletes by any means, but we're not, like, immobile. Some people in our tour were definitely not as fast walkers as we were, and they really lagged behind. You can't, once you're down there, you can't turn around either. You can't say, oh, I've changed my mind, I want to go back out. I mean, I'm sure in certain medical emergencies you might could get back out, but for the most part, once you start down there, you're down there until the end of it, which, like Russell said, will be about 2 to 3 hours. And the tours are pretty fast-paced, so you're going to have to be able to keep up. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. No strollers, no walkers. If you do have some mobility issues, I would recommend maybe a cane or a walking stick for sure.
Yeah, like a collapsible type of walking cane or something like that would be good. So the bottom line is, if you're moderately active, you'll be fine. But if not, it's not a casual walk. It's not a casual walk in the park.
Tip number 2 kind of coincides with tip number 1. We mentioned you're going to be underground for 2 to 3 hours. That is without cell phone service, without Wi-Fi. So if you're attached to your cell phone or addicted, you might have some difficulty. You can take video and pictures. You can't use flashes down there on your cameras or on your cell phone. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and you're going to be underground for, like we said earlier, 2 to 3 hours, and if you've known anything about when you go into a cave atmosphere or anything, it's going to be a whole lot cooler than it is the ambient temperature outside of the cave. So I think it's, for you European people, it's 14 to 16 degrees Celsius, and for the Fahrenheit people, it's going to be 57 to 62 degrees on average inside the cave. So you want to dress accordingly. I wouldn't bundle up in a gigantic parka or anything like that, but a light sweater or a long sleeve shirt would be fine, because after you descended those 800 steps, you're going to start feeling it, and you're going to be warmed up. So just take that into effect.
We obviously went in the middle of summer, so if you went in the wintertime and you were having to dress for outdoors, I'm not sure what you'd actually do once you got in with boots and heavy coats and that kind of thing, because like Russell said, at some points we were sweating. It had gotten quite warm with all of the walking that we were doing, and again, it's a fast-paced walk. It's not a slow thing.
And a lot of people may be worried about if there's bathroom access. Before you go down in the cave, there are bathrooms right there at the ticket entrance, but you won't get a bathroom break until you're about halfway through, when they bring you through for like a 15-minute break. I would say halfway through the tour, there's a concession area. If you didn't bring any snacks or anything like that with you, you can purchase drinks and foods and some snacks, and they do give you a bathroom break then. Tip number 3 would be choose your tour wisely and watch the group size. You want to specify, and the ones that go pretty quick if you buy the tickets early are the English-speaking groups. You cannot show up to the mine and expect that you're just going to tour it on your own. This is one of the places that they do require you have a professional guide with you, and you'll be put in with another group. And some of those groups can get up to like 40 people, so we'll elaborate a little bit on that. There are several different tour types in there. You can do the tourist version of it, where they just walk you along and explain the birth of the cave all the way up to modern day. And then there's like what they call the miner tour, where you go with actual miners down there, and it's a whole lot more walking than what we've been talking about. We did not do that.
Yeah, I think they said that's more of a strenuous, not even just more walking, but more the areas that you're accessing are probably more difficult than what we were doing in our general tour, I guess.
We took what they call the tourist route, and it's the classic one that everybody takes. You see all the sculptures, the cathedral, the chapel, the salt lakes, and all the highlights, and they explain all that with a tour guide that you go with. And that would be another thing, too. You're going to use an electronic headset, and if you're in a large group, like we said on other things, if you're just not right up on the tour guide, the headsets ain't like top of the line where you're going to hear everything they say. It's going to be intermittent, and you're going to miss out on some things, so...
Obviously, if you can get in a smaller group, all the better. And I think you mentioned earlier in the peak season, which I guess would be summertime, you can get up to 40 in the group. Well, we had 38 in our group. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't very pleasant as far as the size of the group, because we a lot of times would stay back to get video that didn't have 38 people in it, or a picture that didn't have 38 people in it, and we fell behind. So then we would have to run and catch up with the guide. Well, while we were trying to catch up with the guide, everything that she was saying we didn't hear, because again, you're underground, you're in walls of salt, which are thick like rocks, you're in a cave. So if you're not right on the tour guide at all times, there were many times we did not hear what the tour guide was saying. So that was a little bit disappointing. Not the fault of the tour guide, not really our fault. It's just the circumstance.
Well, and we were there in high season. Summertime is high season, and you want to make sure that if you're there, and book early in the morning or later in the afternoon. And a lot of times you don't get all that bottleneck with all these big gigantic tour groups going through the middle part of the day. And, it's just, make sure, too, if you're going to get the English-speaking tour, those sell out pretty quick. So you need to book that way in advance and get the time that you want. So that would just be another tip that I would, stress on people.
We got our tickets through Get Your Guide, and that included our round-trip transportation out there on a tour bus. And it was nice. It's about a 30-minute drive outside of Krakow. So it's something you could definitely take public transportation out there to and from if you chose to. And it would definitely be cheaper, that route. But we just chose to do what we decided to do there. And we'll put what we paid per person on the screen now. And I'll also include the website for the mine. You can go on there and get more details about what you can and can't do, limitations, types of tours, availability, that kind of thing. But I think the key thing is, if you're wanting an English tour, that you do look at least a few days in advance and try and book it. And again, the earlier in the day or the later in the day, the better. I would recommend early. You're getting a fresh tour guide and hopefully beating some of the crowds as well. So before we wrap up, there is one fun fact that I want to share that we did not participate in, but apparently you can lick the walls of the salt mine. Now, I don't know who on earth would want to, but
Yeah.
apparently it is something you can do. And the walls are all made of, most of them are made of salt. So I guess if you want to lick a salt block, then did you?
No, absolutely not. But anyway, I don't know if we got this on video or not, but another interesting fact is there is an actual working underground post office there where you can send a postcard from deep down in the salt mine. It's an actual working post office. So there you go, our 3 must-knows before visiting the salt mine. It's absolutely worth seeing, I feel, and just go in prepared. Like we said, dress accordingly. Advanced ticket purchases are a must, and just have fun with it.
And maybe do some stretching before you go.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't hurt. So let us know in the comments, have you been? What were your thoughts on the mine outside of Krakow?
If you liked this video and you felt it was great information or whatever, we'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to our channel.
Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed day and safe travels out there.